Hello everybody, I hope you are all doing well today. This is just going to be a quick video talking you through some of the major conventions of our first assignment, which counts 15% of our grade and should be 900 words but no more than 950. Please remember that this word count does not include the header information in the left-hand corner, the title of your work, or the works cited page. You will see some of our SLOs outlined on the guidelines here that relate to this assignment. We will be using MLA for this assignment, and we will also be reviewing and locating database sources and evaluating those. So what we're going to be doing is what is historically titled a Burkean dialogue. Now, when you think about a dialogue screenplay such as this one, remember that it's not a screenplay and that you are using creative dialogue, but rather that you are creating a dialogue amongst yourself and the research that you find without using I. So first, what you are going to do is locate and evaluate some research in at least a couple of different disciplinary fields. Of course, these should be of interest to you so that it's a more engaging assignment. And you will think about your topic as being diverse, as I've noted here. Now, with diverse, really all that means is that multiple disciplines such as sociology, I've listed just a few, psychology, education, etc., research that topic of choice, bringing different perspectives and methodologies and approaches to the conversation. Now, the screenplay and dialogue part comes into play when you think about the fact that you're going to kind of situate yourself as the scholar within the conversation of your topic. So you can kind of note using argumentative language if points are valid or invalid that you find. You will essentially need 3 points in current research on whatever topic you choose to make your thesis plausible and credible and a good roadmap for both you and the audience to follow your ideas. You can see some requirements here include that you should have 4 peer-reviewed sources, scholarly articles, in other words, from the databases. These should be published within the last 3 years and should be from at least 2 different areas of study. I've noted below that there are many ways that you can figure out if your sources are from 2 different disciplinary areas. And of course, you can use more than 2, but you should have at least 2 different areas of study because that's the goal of our course, to think about the ways that different areas of study approach discussing the same topic. So I've noted you might examine the journal names or databases. Sometimes the area of study is really visible there and obvious. So examples I've noted here include the Journal of Environmental Science. I know that's one students have used quite a bit in the past, or the Journal of Psychology. Obviously, for those, the first one would be from the field of enviroscience, and the second would be from the field of psychology. Sometimes you'll find in databases that it's very obvious in the name if you choose to use one that's more idiosyncratic to the field of interest, such as PubMed, that'd be the field of medicine. ProQuest Central is a really great place to start, just because I think that this gives you a chance to look at multidisciplinary research. You can consult my video on the research process to help navigate that, and working with the library is also invaluable in terms of finding sources. I've just noted a few things here about the sources and the diction. So just remember that yes, you are kind of putting your own opinionated ideas and reflections into the scholarship, but do not use first person, so I, me, or my. You want to also make sure that you follow these checklists here, identify your research topic, and make sure that it is narrow enough to have 3 different arguments at play in research. You should become familiar with the summaries of your source's arguments so that you can put those in your text and respond to them. You can take the time and should to link maybe connections between your sources. So you might have a point on cyberbullying and how bad it is for mental health as your first point, but you might have more than one source that builds off of how mental health is affected by cyberbullying. So in that case, you would state that the field of psychology points out very similar points to the field of sociology in terms of the outcome of cyberbullying. I've also included just a checklist here that you might keep in mind about these sources. Again, remember that you need at least 4 scholarly articles. These should be full text, scholarly, and peer reviewed. And the other thing I wanted to remind you of is that on Blackboard, and I'm just going to pull that up real quick here, there are student samples, and some of these at times are going to be annotated, but they give you an example of strong essays from past students. It gives you a good idea of what the thesis might look like, as well as how to engage with the research as being valid or invalid. So you can see that this student was writing on the preparedness of a pandemic, and his 3 arguments had to do with varying approaches in vaccine development, the surveillance systems that are needed, and the international collaboration that can drive innovation. So those were his 3 points he found from looking at critical insights on the pandemic in research. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask me. There's also another example, and gradually there may be more added. This was a student that wrote on human trafficking, and the research that she found showed that there was economic hardship as part of this, unethical traditions of child marriage, as well as the exploration that it needs to, or that it rather reinforces in humanity. That is what she found in her research. Okay, please let me know if you've got any questions, and I'm so excited to help you all with this as well as read these.